So my point is to understand. All banks are talking about the risk.
Yes.
How the risk can be addressed under the SME sector.
So what is a major risk? Major risk is that when you borrow, you may default. And that default is maybe willful or a natural default. Individuals borrow, firms borrow, countries borrow. And they repay. But there can be delay. We have experienced in 2012 sovereign debt crisis. Several countries, Portugal, Ireland, Greece, Spain, and even Japan threatened that they are going to default their foreign debt. Few months back, we have a neighbor country, an island nation, Sri Lanka, falling to sovereign debt crisis. We have several corporates, big corporates who are not able to repay. We have Anil Ambani's companies. You have big one, Jayaprakash Associates. And we have several referrals to the NCLT where the companies have to be declared bankrupt and dissolved. So bankruptcy and dissolve, IBC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, which was addressed to these large corporates. And now we are telling that countries, you should also be forgiven. So, Mr. Gupta, my first point to you is retribution, forgiving the debt of the countries, forgiving the debt of the companies, and forgiving the debt of the individuals when they are unable to repay. It is not a purposeful default. It is a default because of the pandemic time. So that is what we have presented before. Retribution was there. If you take the case of Sri Lanka in a larger country basis, I will come to the individual MSME cases. But when you take a country basis, there are many countries which have defaulted their foreign loans. We have examples of Mexico, Argentina, Chile, Brazil. All these were original sinners. And why did they sin? The reason was they were not able to borrow in their own currency. We borrow in foreign currency. And when the foreign currency appreciate and domestic currency depreciate, you have to repay 3 times, 4 times, 5 times than what we have borrowed. Sri Lanka borrowed at 15 rupiah for $1. Today, Sri Lanka rupiah is 258 rupiah for $1. So what you have borrowed is 54. What you have to repay is about 258. That there is no justice. And that is where the countries say we are going to default because there is no way we can repay what we have borrowed is a small amount. And this we economics call it as original sin. Original sin is the problem of the companies and the countries and the individuals, where we are not able to borrow in our own currency. We have to borrow in foreign currency. And that was a problem with the Anil Ambani. He borrowed in foreign currency and the foreign currency depreciated, the domestic currency depreciated, and he has to pay a huge amount of money and company collapsed and he is nowhere. You know what is happening to Reliance Power. You know what is happening to Reliance Communication. They are non-functioning companies. So what was a solution internationally taken was, considering the original sin, one, the creditors has to be sufferers. I have a revisor, see who are the creditors. Banks are lending and MSME is borrowing. So should we bail out the debtors or should we bail out the creditors? This is a question. Now the time has come, the creditors have to bear the brunt of the debtors' inability to pay. So therefore, we have bailed out the farmers, we have bailed out many industries, and this is the right time. We also have to bail out the MSMEs. This is my first concern with the risk of lending to the MSMEs.